G'day everyone. This last week, or the best part of last week, maybe slightly more, can't remember, I've been painting Napoleonics and I've loved it. It's been great. Haven't enjoyed painting something this much for a while. It was really good fun. Really good fun. So the figures I'm going to show you, they are most of them are from the Silver Bayonet range, actually. So one might argue that they're Napoleonic adjacent, but they're very much based on Napoleonic uniforms and characters and stuff, with some minor tweaks to some of their equipment. But by and large, yeah, they're Napoleonic miniatures. And just part of the fun of this was I just realised how much I miss painting stuff like this, that I really do enjoy horse and musketeer and pike and shot as well. Anything, the ancients, I paint them, but it's not my favourite thing. And also, those who've been watching the channel for a long time know that I really love, like the early medieval period and onwards, like 400 AD and on. But before that, I'm really not very interested. No insult to anyone, but I just, some things just really fill you with, you just really enjoy painting them, and other things not so much. But I'm gonna show you these guys. So the first two that I've got up here, and yeah, the camera and the lighting doesn't show them quite how they really are. They always look better to the eye, even for me, like seeing them. And I know when the guys get them, who I paint them for, when they receive them, they say, "Oh, they do really look better than the pictures or the videos." And yeah, hard to get to show them how they really are. But yeah, these first two guys, these are Austrians from the Silver Bayonet, one of the Silver Bayonet Austrian sets. So even if you're not into Silver Bayonet, there's some cracking figures in there that you could use as character figures in your 28mm Napoleonic armies as well. So we've got like an Austrian hussar and his really colourful uniform. For references, I looked at the pictures on the North Star Military Figures website under the Silver Bayonet section to see the painted examples they had there. So I took a general lead from that, and then I went, and that was another fun part of this project, was I got my Napoleonic books out. I got my book on Wagram out and my book on Borodino, the ones that I had that had all these plates and things like that, and I was looking things up, and that's part of the pleasure of doing a little bit of uniform research and stuff like that. That you really can do with Napoleonic period. And maybe I haven't got it 100% accurate, but one could argue that these figures aren't 100% accurate anyway. But I've tried to add some extra details in, like some knot work on the wrist and on the legs of the hussar. There's a stripe down there. And the black and yellow sort of barrel sash, bright red trousers, and his green jacket and his blue shako. So colourful, so much fun. And then you've got like a militia type unit, Austrian militia type unit. So I chose to give him the sky blue facings, and blue trousers, a different shade of blue. So you can see on the back, not on this guy, but the back of this guy, he's got some of those sort of Silver Bayonet accoutrement, some flaming torches to light up later or something, and probably something special books or something there, like. But yeah, what I'll do is I'll put up the British guys next. Let me just get these out, and then we'll put them all up at once at the end. Okay, now it's the Lord of the Beans, Richard Sharp. modelled after Sean Bean. The Lord of the Beans. Okay, so this is, to the best of my knowledge, this is not a Silver Bayonet miniature. Someone might know, it might be from perhaps the Giants in Miniature range that War Games Illustrated does. I'm not 100% sure. But these three are definitely from the Silver Bayonet releases. So here we got, yep, Richard Sharp. Now I painted it more in accordance with the costume that he wore on the series. So I looked on one of the Richard Sharp websites that has like photographs of all the actual costumes that were worn and things, and based it off that. So nicely detailed miniature. So I hope I got a decent sort of semblance of the rifle green. Not as dark as sometimes you see it. Sometimes you see it and it almost looks black, but I wanted the green to come through as well. And believe it or not, that was achieved, that dark green. I didn't use any like regular paint to do that with. That was I built that up with I started with my usual light grey undercoat, and then I put down Vallejo Express. I think it's, I'll check for you. Vallejo Express color lizard green. I put that down over the top, and so that's still too bright. So then I put over, I believe it was P3 Armor Wash, and then I put my usual brown wash. That order might be around the other way, but anyway, it doesn't really matter, because what it does is I took the original sort of reasonably darkish green base, but it was still quite bright, and then just applied a couple extra washes to it. So I kept the natural highlights, but it really darkened the shadows really nicely. And when the figure's finished, it's quite shiny, so you got to have, it's essential that you have a good matte varnish over the top of that. But I think it looks pretty good. It looks pretty good using that method. So yeah, but you'll see there's some other miniatures that I've done that have a dark green, but it's a different dark green, and I use a different method. We'll come to that soon. So so we've got some British guys. So this chappy here, he's in the sort of later Belgic Shako rather than the Peninsula. This is more sort of later war uniform. Again, he's got some flaming brands or something to light up later. So gives you a bit of a giveaway that it's a Silver Bayonet but miniature, but really you could use that as a character figure for your Napoleonic 28mm stuff, no problem. Now with that, the reds on these guys, I started with I used, and I'm just talking about in terms of just blocking in, blocked in with, I think it's called Velvet Red, Vallejo Express Velvet Red, and that was just my block in, and then went over with my usual brownie wash, and then I think it was AK Interactive Brick Red over that, and then sort of another highlight on top of that. So you could put, like, I don't know, Vallejo Scarlet or something. I think it may have used some of that actually as the final highlight. But yeah, so that's them. There's lots of detail. Tried to get all the lace and everything. And then you've got a Marine here, a British Royal Marine. So really nice figures to paint. Really, the detail is really easy to pick out on these metal sculpts. So the equipment, sort of the way it hangs on them and stuff for these Silver Bayonet figures isn't exactly regulation, but they're fun, characterful miniatures. Yeah, they paint up a treat. So this guy's a bit unusual. He's from their Silver Bayonet Canada set, I think. So he's a bit different. So he's got some sort of non-standard issue trousers on with a big leather patch on the knee as well, and some different perhaps equipment that he's picked up in the colonies. He's got some feathers hanging off him here, and in his top hat, which is similar to the Marines top hat. Maybe it's meant to be a Marines top hat. I don't know, or maybe it's a civilian one, and he's just, or it's a militia unit, or I'm not 100% sure. But again, really nice figures, and nice faces and things. He's got some beads around his neck and some bear claws or teeth or something like that hanging around there, and some, I don't know what these look, tiny little skulls or something on his hat band, and a gold cross or something. Strange, these Silver Bayonet dudes, but they're basically Napoleonic miniatures. So he's some sort of sergeant as well. So yeah, that's the British guys. And then there's more. There will be more to come further down the track. Some of those are a bit less uniform though. Some of the other characters, they're more like militia characters. Now these are the Russians from some of the Russian releases. Excuse my arms in front of the... Yeah, these are the Russian Napoleonic guys. So what you've got, again, I did a bit of research, make sure I got the cuffs and the trim and things right, and changed the badge on the shako from a grenade, kind of scraped it off slightly and painted in the cross barrels, gun barrels thing, because this is actually meant to be an artilleryman waving his sword around, and painted on the sort of browny grey great coats they tended to have. So yeah, really pleased with how this dude came out actually. It was a fairly simplistic sort of miniature, but took the paint really well, and got some nice details on the face and things, and just really clean to paint up. Now the Russian green I've used here on these guys, I took on board a suggestion from Kent's Paint Shack, and he recommended having a look at a fellow commission painter's painting notes that were online for Napoleonic uniforms and the Vallejo model colours that this guy was suggesting. Now the painter's name is Richard Abbott. So I looked up Richard Abbott miniature painter or something like that, and found his site. Has lots and lots and lots of photos of his work. A lot of Napoleonics, Perrys and front rank, and some other things as well. But there's a section right near the top where it says painting notes, and he actually gives you some of his ideas, formulas for certain well-known Napoleonic colours, and I thought I'd give his mix a try. I did add a different colour to it, to the first stage, but basically the green is built up from, I started with a really, really dark green as my base, which I wonder if I can put my hands on it here, wherever I've put it back on the shelf, or I've got it here still. Yeah, okay. Just in case, but I would recommend, if you're having a look on his, looking up the Richard Abbott website, if you want some tips on colours and things. Yeah, okay. So this is what I used, basically. I started with, to get a super duper dark green, I started with this Reaper Swamp Green, the 09175 Swamp Green. Super, super dark. I started with that as a base, and then I went over that with German camo dark green from Vallejo Model Color. Oh, I forgot to say this, and then my wash goes in here. The wash stage is in between these two. So usual mucky brown wash. And then I went over with this, and then mixed German uniform, Vallejo, not field grey. This is a different colour, not German field grey. This is called German uniform. So I mixed these two together to get my next tone up, and then the final highlight was just this on its own, basically. I mean, you can make it go even lighter if you really want for certain creases or places, but yeah. So that's the basic formula for that Russian green, and it's very different from that rifle green that I had on that Lord of the Beans, Mr. Richard Sharp figure. So I'm really pleased with how it turned out, actually. So do give that site, Richard Abbott's site, a check out, and have a trawl through his lovely pictures. And I think he's a UK-based painter, I think. I hadn't heard of him before, but he seems to do some lovely work. Very a different style to mine, but there's some fantastic paint suggestions in there. So yeah, I think this guy's almost my favourite. I really like how he turned out. But this guy, I really like him too. This is a Pavlovsky Grenadier. Such a smart and iconic uniform of the period, isn't it? So he's fairly much standard. Like there's nothing really you can look at him and say, oh, that's very Silver Bayonet. It's not really. He could stand on his own, in a Napoleonic army. Perhaps be good on a command stand or something. I don't know. Same with this artillery figure. He's very cool. Now this figure, I think it's meant to be a Opolochny or Opolchany, as some people said. I'm not sure which is the. I always thought it was Opolochny, but it might be Opolchany. I don't know. But they were sort of militia guys, Russian militia dudes in the Napoleonic Wars. So he's got that nice cap and a great coat. A nice simple figure, but when he's highlighted up right and stuff, he does look really quite effective. So he's got his pistol, and now he's got his little bit of Silver Bayonet kit back here. He's got his lantern back there. These big holsters for pistols at his side. This last guy is meant to be a Jaeger. So he's got one of the black straps showing, but this other strap I've painted is the same color as the bag, because he seems to have this absolutely humongous extra big bag, probably with all sorts of gear in it. And strangely, he seems to have a ruddy great big hammer, like Thor's hammer on the back there, and some stakes. So he must be going to hunt some vampires or something. And he's called, I think in the set, he's called the Hunter or something. So he's probably going to hunt some vampires or something. I don't know. Yeah, so some wooden stakes and a ruddy great big hammer. This huge bag. So I did think maybe 2 black straps, because that's what the Russian Jaegers wore. They had black belts, belting and stuff straps. But I thought, well, he's got this absolutely mammoth bag, and it probably needs a mammoth strap, so I'll make that the strap instead for the bag. Because he doesn't seem to be carrying a sword off his hip or anything there. So that's him with now, and I've given him the yellow epaulettes. That was like looking at my reference material, and he's and I've painted in tiny little red number 4 on each shoulder. That's from one of my reference books, the 4th Jaeger Regiment or something like that. Now the only thing I'm unsure about with these guys, assuming they're sort of circa 1812 Russians, is the shakos. They've done all right to me. they look more like a French shako. Now, what were the one? Was it a Kiwa or something? They had this funny coal shovel type, curved type of shako that I thought was in use by 1812, a different type of shako. So I'm not sure. Maybe this is an earlier type of shako, but I don't know. I'm not sure about that. But anyway, they're painted up quite nicely. It was just such fun to do something like this, you know. So it's such a difference. I'd like to paint more stuff like this. It would be great. I wish I could. You know, I really would like to. Horse and musket stuff. And I've also, you know, and when I've had a chance to paint English Civil War stuff, I've really enjoyed that too. You know, I guess we all have our favourite periods. Ancients aren't one of mine. Dark Ages are, but to me, that in my mind, that's a different thing. That early medieval period or late antiquity, 400 AD sort of on, that really gets my interest going. I'm going to bunch of these dudes up a bit. Bring the camera to encompass them all in one. So there they are, guys. Yeah, it was just so much fun. Yeah, I hope I get to paint more stuff like this in the future. I think what made it a lot of fun as well is that each one is different. So for me, like, I like painting characters. You know, it's and I like this period, and I've got, you know, reference books. I always wish I had more, but the good ones are quite expensive, the color plates and stuff. But yeah. So I hope you've enjoyed seeing them. Please let me know if you've got any questions. Like, I've given you a couple of formulas there that I've used for some of the colors. But wow, just puts a big smile on my face painting Napoleonic stuff like this. It really does. I wish people would send me more of it. It is almost something, you know, I'd like to do for myself, but I don't know where I'd put it all. That's the thing. That is the thing. You've got to have the space to store it, to display it. Let alone if you actually want to play a game with it. In this 28mm, you need good sized tables. You know, bigger than, I think, to be fair, bigger than your average dining table. Otherwise, you just, you know, I guess you could do small skirmish games, and there's nothing wrong with that. But anyway, enough rambling from me. I'll need to go off and take some photos of these guys, which I hope I'll take on the end of this video. All right, guys, take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.